guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received in my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head on over to my channel to check it out. Well guys, welcome back. We're so happy to have you. I'm so happy that you're here for another amazing video. Today's video I am absolutely so excited for. Now, I've heard the comments, I've seen the things, some people have commented saying that they do want me to do a video about my full unspoiler thoughts on the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. I will be doing that video shortly. I've decided I want to make that video more of like a random one that I'm going to do in the middle of a week sometime this summer as like a fun little summer treat, as like in the middle of the week before a Saturday, I'm going to post a full spoiler review of the Powerless trilogy. But today I wanted to talk about legitimately my favorite thing in the entire world besides my books is the authors that write them. As you've seen from the title of today's video, we are talking about my auto-buy authors or my automatic buy authors. There are just authors that I have read. And I've talked about this in several videos where I talk about my pantheon of authors, the god tier level authors.
Miguel and Tulio. Tulio and Miguel, mighty and powerful gods.
The authors who make up my Olympian council, if you will. Starting with the crown jewel of like, we have Zeus who like leads the council, and then you've got, you got Poseidon, you've got Hades.
Oh, Hades, you finally made it. How are things in the underworld?
Well, they're just fine. A little dark, a little gloomy, and as always, hey, full of dead people. What are you gonna do?
And you've got like all the other like quote unquote knights of the round table in the Olympians. And I have my Olympians. These are my champions. These are my authors that no matter what they write, no matter what it is, I will automatically buy their book. I don't care what the theme is. I don't care if they're changing it up. I will automatically buy their book if they are writing something and if they publish it. Anything that these people put out, I will read without a shadow of a doubt.
Damn, what is that, bro?
And so, for my people today, for those of you who are watching this video, I wanted you to know who are my authors who I trust with my life, who I trust with my reading material. Because that's something I do hear from people quite often, is that they don't want to start a book, or they don't want to buy books or start books because they're afraid that it's not going to be very good. Or they're worried that it's going to be like, man, what if this book sucks and I waste all my time with a book that sucks? None of the books here in any way, shape, or form or capacity suck at all. Every book I'm going to be recommending for you is flawless, fantastic, absolutely with 100% excellence, no flaws in any of them, in my opinion.
Your guarantee.
So these are authors I trust with my life. And also, this is a great tip for you. If you're someone that likes to look on the backs of books to see who's recommending or who's writing reviews for other authors, check that. So whenever I'm selecting a book, if one of my authors in my pantheon over here that I'm going to be recommending for you suggests that book or they write a review for someone else's book, of course I'm going to automatically buy it because I trust them. I trust these people that I am talking about today. So you can use that for your next book shopping adventure. But before we get into that, we need to talk about what I just finished reading versus what I am currently reading. Guys, I am back on my fantasy train, and thank the freaking goodness I am, because I read Book Talk insane viral moment, Shield of Sparrows by Devin Perry. Guys, Devin Perry has been for as long as I can remember a contemporary fiction author. She's written, I'm not kidding, dozens of contemporary fiction novels. I have read 2 of her contemporary fictions. They are both in, there's the Indigo Ridge and then Juniper Hill. They're both like a cowboy series, like taking place in Wyoming. Both were cute, but I'll be honest, like not something I'm gonna like write home about. They're not like ones that I'm like dying to talk about. I did enjoy them in their own way, but like I don't think they're like my favorite of the cowboy romances that I normally read. Like I read a lot of cowboy romance and they're like, okay.
I mean, it's all right. Like,
this woman, her debut fantasy novel, a fantasy novel with a romance subplot. Okay, so this is fantasy romance because it is a fantasy plot with a romance subplot. And my gosh, it was fan-freaking-tastic. Shield of Sparrows was phenomenal. I loved this book. I thought this book was so well written. I thought this book was so like intricate, and the world building was so interesting, and the characters were so like true to themselves, and they just like, she wrote about characters that you would normally like. I feel like we just don't get to see types of characters like this very often, especially our lead female character, Odessa. So, to give you guys a quick plot summary, Shield of Sparrows is about a young girl, or a young princess named Odessa. She lives in a kingdom and called Quentis. And one day, a ship sails into the harbor of her kingdom, and on it they have this group of warriors from a neighboring kingdom. And they have to, essentially, she thinks her younger sister is being chosen as the champion to marry one of these warriors. And they're getting all ready for the preparations. Her younger sister's getting ready to get married to one of these guys from this warrior ship. And when these guys show up, one of them, the prince, decides, no, I do not want to marry the younger sister. I want to marry her. And so Odessa, who has been slighted and undermined and looked over her entire life, is chosen to marry this prince and essentially gets stuck in an arranged marriage where she is forced to go to Tura, which is his island, and essentially become queen. And essentially while she's there, she figures out that there's something going on Tura. There's monsters, like you're surrounded by monsters on this island, and something bad is happening to all these people. So I absolutely loved this book. I loved the world building. I thought the world building for this book was absolutely phenomenal. And I loved that it's been a while since I've read a fantasy book with a romance subplot, which is my favorite. It's my favorite type. I feel like most recently I've been getting romantasy, which is like romance heavy with fantasy subplot. And I love those too, but it was really refreshing to read something that was so about Odessa and her journey and like her overcoming her own struggles and like coming into herself and like learning about herself. And I was so fascinated with her as a character because she's been like undermined and totally just like pushed to the side her entire life. She really has to like grow into herself and grow into her confidence, and like no one does it better and no one helps her more than the Guardian, which is one of the prince's warriors. His name is the Guardian, and the Guardian is amazing. He is fantastic. I love him. Ooh, I love him so much.
You know we belong together. You know we belong together. Don't piss me off.
Devin Perry, quit your day job. Fantasy is where you're supposed to be. Like, I am absolutely loving this. I cannot wait to see what she has next. It's gonna be fantastic. 5 stars for Shield of Sparrows. Like, seriously, I could talk about this book all night. I absolutely loved it. Cannot recommend it enough. This is a 5-star read for Devin Perry's Shield of Sparrows. Extremely well done. Absolutely loved it. And what I am currently reading is Rachel Gillig's The Knight and the Moth. I am finally getting to this one, guys. This was a very anticipated read for me this year. I was very, very excited for it because I love Rachel Gillig. She's fabulous. She's one of the authors we're going to be talking about today as one of my auto buys. She is just a fabulous Gothic writer and truly a master of like poetic writing and a master of world building. Like, truly obsessed with her, love her. She's fantastic, and I cannot wait to read this amazing book. It's going to be so good. Cannot wait. So that is what I'm currently reading and what I just finished reading. So I hope that you enjoyed that segment. Please check out Shield of Sparrows and The Knight and the Moth. I highly, highly recommend them. So without further ado, let's get into today's video, my auto buy authors. Let's get started. Let's just start with Rachel Gillig because we're already talking about her. So Rachel Gillig's debut novel was about 3 years ago. She wrote One Dark Window. This is that book. One Dark Window is fabulous. Cannot recommend her enough. The thing that I feel like sets Rachel Gillig apart from other authors is that when her book came out, this was her first book, when it came out, it was in a time of like romantasy had just like hit the scene. I feel like romantasy was a word that people were starting to use more frequently in their writing, and they're talking about this is romantasy and that's romantasy and this is what this is that and that is that, you know?
That doesn't make any sense.
And Rachel Gillig really said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to write romantasy. I'm going to write something completely different and completely my own and make it my own. And she wrote Gothic romance. Gothic, haunting, creepy, spooky, but with like incredibly well-written characters and diverse characters. I think Rachel Gillig is a really powerful author because I feel like she's not afraid to be different. She's not afraid to do something that's different from everybody else. And she's not afraid to be unique and she's clearly carved a path for herself, and she has a style of writing that no one else does. Like, truly, I cannot recommend the One Dark Window duology more than I do already. Like, I love this duology. I think it's a flawless duology. I think she's mastered the duology as well, which I think a lot of authors haven't mastered that technique, because I think a lot of people were so used to like the trilogy, like making a trilogy. Many authors, Lauren Roberts included, and Alex Astor included, could learn from someone as mature and as well written as Rachel Gillig to know when to stop. When to be like, you know what, 2 books is enough.
I finally just had to say, enough already!
You can tie it all up in a perfect little bow with those 2 books and have a perfect duology that is complete, that is succinct, that is beautiful, and it's well written, and it's different than what everyone else is writing. Rachel Gillig is by far one of my favorite authors of the past couple of years, and she belongs on my pantheon of best authors. So everyone needs to go read any book by Rachel Gillig, but especially One Dark Window. Next, I want to talk about an author who has struggled, who has worked her butt off for years and is finally getting the recognition that she deserves.
And I work like a dog day and night.
And thank freaking goodness for it. We have one of my all-time favorite authors currently, Miss Carissa Broadbent. Carissa Broadbent is phenomenal. I cannot get over how much I love her and how much I love her writing. Carissa Broadbent for years indie published her books. They were all indie published on on Amazon and at bookstores who would take her. And I was I had never even discovered her until about, when was it? 2 years ago. I started seeing this book pop up on Book Talk. Serpents and the Wings of Night started popping up on my Book Talk. And so I was like, well, I'm going to check this out because I want to know what's going on here. And I think Serpents was her first opening into traditional publishing. Since this point, since when I read it, it has become traditionally published. Serpents and the Wings of Night is now a traditionally published series, which is amazing. And I'm so happy for her. She has 2 series. She has the Daughter of No World series, which is a 3-book trilogy. And then she has the Serpents and the Wings of Night, Crowns of Nyaxia series, which currently is 3 books long. The 4th book comes out, I think, in August. And then she has 2 novellas along with that world in this vampire world. I love Carissa Broadbent because she's not afraid to be gritty. She's not afraid to be gross. She's not afraid to scare you, haunting in the middle of the night. Rachel Gillig is more I would say Rachel Gillig is more beautiful haunting. It's more craggy moors and Jane Eyre vibes. Whereas Carissa Broadbent is more vampires gonna suck your blood in the middle of the night, and there's bloody wars, and there's powerful tactics, and there's you're afraid of what goes bump in the night kind of vibes.
Vampire.
Are you afraid?
No.
Then ask me the most basic question. What do we eat?
I feel like Carissa Broadbent's not afraid to take it there and to make it nitty and gritty and gross and grimy. And she will take it there. But she will also cut you with a knife with how devastating some of these lines are. Serpents and the Wings of Night, I cannot get over how fan-freaking-tastic the ending of this first book is. There are lines in here that I want to read them to you, but I can't because it will spoil the book. There's a line in here that cuts so deep. It cuts so deep because you watch our main character, Oriah. She's our lead character in this book. She has such a powerful arc. The arc where she starts and where she ends is so palpable. You read the line. There's one line at the end of the book. You will know the line when you read it. And you will know, there it is. There's the arc. She made the full character arc. And it's beautiful. And it's powerful. And Carissa Broadbent just wrote some of the most beautiful, powerful, badass women that have ever existed. And I just love her for it. And the romance and the spice in this, holy crap, goes freaking crazy. She knows how to write some spice, and thank freaking goodness for it, because I'm eating it up with a fork and knife every time, okay? So I highly recommend y'all get in line and join Carissa Broadbent on this journey. She is in my pantheon of authors. Absolutely 1000% the best ever. Next, I want to talk about another author who is the queen of duologies, who writes them so well, and of course is gaining popularity by the freaking second, and thank freaking goodness for it. We have Miss Rebecca Ross's, this is Divine Rivals, but Rebecca Ross. Rebecca Ross came on the scene a couple of years ago when she wrote her first book, which was A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless, which was her, I talk about this book a lot. It's a duology that's very Scottish vibes and very much of that folkloric Scottish fantasy. Then we have Divine Rivals, which it reads like a 1950s World War II novel, but is in actuality a fantasy book set in a time that's slightly steampunkish, and there is a war going on, but it reads very much like 1950s, I'm sending my husband off to war vibes. And it's very hot and very sexy.
What?
I love a man in uniform.
Divine Rivals really like changed the scene. I feel like where Rebecca Ross is coming from. I read A River Enchanted before I read Divine Rivals, and I absolutely loved it. And so then when I found out she was writing Divine Rivals, I said, heck yes, sign me the frick up. I want to know, I want to read everything that this woman is writing. And thank freaking goodness, she's written 2 fabulous duologies. Again, my newer baby authors who are just coming on the scene, and they need to learn from these women who are writing powerful duologies. Palpable, capable, tying them up in a nice bow, and not like leisuring about at their own pace and writing crappy second books in the middle that no one cares about or whatever. Like, I just think that when a duology is so beautifully well written, it makes the book better. It makes the series better. It makes it a complete, beautiful thought. And Rebecca Ross has a great way of writing some lines that just cut you. Like, I feel like Rebecca Ross is very good at the like romance aspect of like, what is romantic?
This is the happiest day of my life. Everything's so wonderful. Just wait till you meet him.
And being vulnerable and raw and real is romantic. And I feel like Rebecca Ross nails that every time she writes a book. Like, I just feel like she writes some very like poignant things about life, like without even meaning to, but I know she means it. Like, she's meaning to write them. Like, even just this moment, like in the beginning of the book, there's a paragraph that she's writing that says, "But I realize that people are just people, and they carry their own set of fears, dreams, desires, pains, and mistakes. I can't expect someone else to make me feel complete. I must find it on my own. And I think I was always writing for myself to sort through my loss and worry and tangled ambitions. Even now I think about how effortless it is to lose oneself in words and yet also find who you are." Like, I love that line though about like, people carry their own set of fears, their dreams, their desires, their pains, their mistakes, and I can't expect someone else to make me feel complete. Like, that's such a beautiful, poignant thought. And I feel like Rebecca Ross has a lot of those in her books where she really makes you think about like what it means to be a human being and what it means to like exist in a world and just to like be comfortable in your own skin. And so I just absolutely love Rebecca Ross. I feel like she's very poetic. I feel like her writing is very poignant. I feel like she's always trying to say something really important with every book series that she writes or every duology that she writes. And that is why she's on my list of auto-buy authors, because seriously, she is fabulous and everyone needs to read books that are written by her. Next, I want to talk about probably one of my all-time oldest and most favorite authors to ever exist on the planet Earth. We are going to talk about Miss Amy Harmon. This is one of many of Amy Harmon's books. Now, Miss Amy Harmon, I would say, specializes in standalone novels. Most of her novels are standalones. But I would say she does have a couple of duologies, a couple of little fantasy moments that she has done. She's done 2 separate fantasy duologies. But most of her books, I would say a majority of her books are either contemporary fiction or they're historical fiction. Personally, for me, I think her historical fictions are her best because she puts so much time and effort and dedication into writing them. But I've got to say, when it comes to writing real human emotion, Amy Harmon is the one to do it for you. Okay? And Amy Harmon is still an indie published author. She's an author that, like, you're not going to go to the Barnes & Noble, you're not going to be able to find her books. You have to go to, like, a private bookstore or a sective bookstore, or you have to order her on Amazon or order her online. But truly, she's one of my most favorite authors to ever walk the face of the planet Earth. She's in my top 3 pantheon. So you know how I was talking about how I have Zeus, and I've got Hades, and I've got Poseidon? This one's my Poseidon. She's my number 2, okay? Like...
Yeah. I think I am the son of Poseidon.
This is my Poseidon, okay? Amy Harmon writes in a way that, like, I wish that, like, it's like I read her stuff and I'm like, man, I wish I had written that. I wish I wrote that. I wish I was the one that said that. But she said it. She said it first. And I cannot even begin to explain the love that I have for this woman. I've met her now twice. She is fabulous. She is so kind and so loving. I've met her at 2 book signings. Both times I bawled my eyes out and cried like a literal baby because I love her so much and because she's changed my life. But truly, like, the way that she writes is she is tapped into human emotion. She understands how people actually work. Like, it's not unrealistic. It's not fake. It is actually real. It is so deep and viscerally real that it cuts you to the cloth. It cuts you to the bone, as deep as it will go. This, Where the Lost Wander, is my favorite book by Amy Harmon. This book I cannot recommend more than enough. This is probably my favorite book I've ever read, ever. Like, when it comes to a standalone novel, it's my favorite thing I've ever read. Where the Lost Wander is an 1800s Oregon Trail, like, going across the West. And when I say that this is one of the most jaw-dropping, beautiful things I've ever read ever in my entire existence of living, I'm not kidding. This book is a great example of what kind of author Amy Harmon is and what kind of person she is. She is truly a master of the human existence, a master of human emotion. And I cannot sing her praises enough. I cannot wait for the day that freaking New York Times bestseller catches a glimpse of Amy Harmon and realizes what a gem she is and what a gem everyone's been sleeping on for all these years. She writes for the love of writing. She does not write for anyone else. She does not write to like be famous or whatever. She's talked about this. She just writes to pour her art out into something. And for that, I love her and respect her more and more every day. And the thing that I do, because I have a channel and I have a small little platform, is I want to recommend authors like her who make you feel true, genuine human emotion and connect with people through it. And that's why I love her. She's in my pantheon. She's in my top 3 of my God tier level authors. Love this woman. Then we have my Hades, okay? This is my dark and dastardly. So we've got Zeus, we've got Poseidon, and here is Hades, my number 3. We have Miss V.E. Schwab.
He was as mean as he was ruthless, and that's the gospel truth.
So of course I picked up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because this is her standalone novel. It's absolutely fantastic. But V.E. Schwab, I have read every single book that V.E. Schwab has posted or published. I've read every single one. I've read every book that V.E. Schwab has written. And I've got to say, she might be one of the most talented authors on the planet. She's another author that is not afraid to get dark and gritty with it. She's not afraid to like tap into like the shadow self and to like the darkest parts of the human psyche. Like she will tap in there. She will go there.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
I just feel like V.E. Schwab is one of those authors that like, when the minute she puts pen to paper, there's something there. She has such deep ideas rooted in what she's doing. Like she just is so, her brain is a mind freak, to be honest. Like I quite literally don't understand what she's doing. Like she's just too powerful in her writing. Like I can just, the wheels that are turning inside her brain, I don't know where she's going. She's an author that like when the surprises happen and when the cliffhangers jump out, it's always a surprise. It's always a shock. I never see it coming from a million miles away. And that's why I love this woman. Like truly a phenomenal author. She's my number 3 in my pantheon of authors. Truly one of the most well-written authors on the planet, and truly just love her with all of my heart. And now we knew this was coming. You guys knew this was coming. We have the King of Olympus, okay? Or should I be saying the Queen of Olympus? We've got the leader of all leaders. The God tier pantheon list would not be even remotely close without this person. And I know maybe everyone in the comment section is sick of hearing me talk about this person, but I can't stop until everyone knows, okay? And I'm so sorry, but we're going to talk about Miss Sarah J. Maas. The author of Throne of Glass, the author of A Court of Thorns and Roses, the author of Crescent City. SJM, she is the GOAT. She is the winner. She is the only author that I will automatically buy anything that this woman writes. Anything in the world. It could literally be her grocery list, and I would, if she published it, I'd buy it. I'm like, I gotta own that. I gotta know exactly what she's buying. Like, she's an author that like I would read anything that she wrote. I would read anything, even if it's the most pitiful garbage on the planet. Like, this woman has created the catalyst for people to write books. She is the blueprint. She started everything. She started it years ago. And finally, when Book Talk became alive, this is what everyone was talking about, is Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, Crescent City. Like, everyone was talking about Sarah. And I was like, wait a minute. You guys are talking about Sarah? You mean my favorite author that has ever existed on the planet Earth? This woman changed my life. She's the reason I have a channel. She's the reason I even started this channel, because I loved her so much. I mean, I love what she wrote so much. She has a way, like her plan, her brain, it doesn't work the way regular brains do. It doesn't work the way mine does. Like, she is like 15 steps ahead. And even in Throne of Glass, that's one of the bits in Throne of Glass is they're always like, they're the lead characters, they're always like, she's like 10 steps ahead of everybody. That's how Sarah is. She's 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Like, we're over here, we're sitting, we're complaining, we're being like, where the heck is ACOTAR 6? Where's the next Sarah J. Maas book? But I already know she's 10 steps ahead. She's planning something big. Something is coming in the next couple of years, and she's on it. She's thinking about it because she's always 10 steps ahead.
Not exist, okay? So I decided, oh shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Sylvia, you gotta be kidding me! I got boxes full of Pepe!
And she's never going to stop, and I hope that she never does. I hope she understands. Like, I feel like she probably does understand the kind of impact that she's had on the book community, but I don't know if she completely understands. Like, I own merch for this woman. I have ACOTAR merch, I have Crescent City merch, and I own at least 4 pieces of Throne of Glass merch. Most of them to do with Daddy Rowan Whitethorn. But that's besides the point. The point is that Sarah has a way with world building that I have never, in all my wildest fantasies, have ever been able to understand, recreate, or see in any other book. Her world building goes beyond that of anything that any mortal person could ever comprehend. That is why she's the king of this group. That is why she's the queen of Olympus. That is why she's my favorite author. That she's changed my life forever. She wrote some of the most palpable, disgusting, devastating, outright soul-ripping lines that I've ever read ever in my entire life, ever. This woman, like, I read Throne of Glass 5 years ago, and it's still the thing that consumes my life. I talk about Throne of Glass every day. There's not one day that passes in my life where I do not talk about this book. And it's because Sarah is such a great writer. She's thought so far ahead into what the plan is going to be that you won't see it coming from a million miles away. And then when it shows up at your front door, you're like, how the heck did I miss that? She's so smart, and her characters are so smart, and her characters are so real and raw and terrible and horrible. And I love them. They're horrible, selfish people, but then they're also amazing people. Like, 2 things can be true at the same time. And I just love her. I love her with all of my heart. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times I've cried over these pages, the amount of times I've kissed this book. I've kissed it several times. Like, truly, I love everything that Sarah writes. And that's why she is the queen of Olympus in my pantheon of authors. If you have not read anything by Miss Sarah J. Maas, please do yourself the biggest favor and read one of her books, because truly it will change your life forever. So that is all the automatic buy authors that I want to recommend for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Living Literature YouTube channel. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here today. This was such a fun video for me to make. If there are any video ideas that you guys want to see coming up in these next couple of summer months, please let me know down below in the comments. But I'm loving you guys the most, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.